How's it going, guys? It is me, the AcidCrab, and we are here for some more exciting Jets of Time action. As we see our number 1 seed, Natorade, versus our number 2 seed, Phone. And we will have to see who comes out on top. We are just about ready to get started here. I'm going to be sending the go-ahead to our runners. And we will get everything going here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful morning. Alright, we are going to send the go-ahead to our runners here. Got a lot of spoons going on here. And we will be starting here very shortly. And they are off. We have a Luca Ayla start between Phone and Nate here. That is a team that's going to benefit from power tabs early, so you are going to see At least Phone grabbing that power tab. As Nate heads into the sewers to find that loot. And then continues kind of his loot start. We get a first peek at some of the techs for the seed. We'll have to keep an eye to see what ends up being good here. Flame Toss is good. That's kind of a weird one. Napalm's good. We have a good cat attack, it looks like. So some kind of non-standard techs going on here. Some non-standard, kind of not our usual culprits for good dual tech action here. Nate heading into the factory to loot as Phone heads in to get his third party member. We get to see that great flame toss. Alright, we get a Frog for our trouble. Frog could pair really well into this party. He's got a good leap slash. Frog Squash rolled 15, which is pretty usable. But we got some weird techs so far. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw Dactyl get checked. Nate heading down to do the Pseudoarc bug skip in the factory, and he nails that difficult skip. Terra Arm +3 is our reward so far, but there's a Mermaid Cap with +2 strength. Alisher would love that. A Crisis something. I don't know if that was a Crisis Sword or Scythe. But you're seeing somebody who has obviously trained factory looting here. And got a Speed Belt. A Speed Belt can be so massive in these Lost World seeds. Silver Rock Plus, we'll have to see what effect it rolls. That's a nice roll. Nate finishing out. So yeah, speed just became no problem on Nate's side. And we do see Phone heading up Dactyl Nest. Now, we did have somebody in chat asking about an over-under. I don't think I can run one. That's unfortunate. Thought I could. Nate heading upstairs to factory as well. There's a couple easy to grab chests here as well. And looting factory in this way actually gets you about the same amount of chests as looting all of the future. A hero's medal for the frog that we know lives in the dome here, with a decent leap slash roll. Phone giving us our final piece of info as Marl is found in the seed. Marl is a game changer in Lost Worlds. Not only does she bring haste to the table, but she only has 2 damaging techs. And if either of them roll decent, they go into a lot of dual techs. So let's take a look at what Marl has as Nate goes ahead and grabs some of the future checks too. He checks them so fast. I saw some things low on the list were high for Marl. I didn't catch what our water and water 2 were. Nate doing a little shopping. This early in the seed, you are typically looking for ethers. We also see Phone heading into the hunting range. Must have been something good available in the hunting range. Wonder Bow available. May have been something else. Nate heading in to find Frog. He has a lot of gear. He has a lot of good, good and decent armor. Cat attack rolled very nicely at a 15. Looks like Rock Toss rolled well as well. But unfortunately, we know there's no Robo to pair that with. Not quite enough damage for the robot there. Phone continues. It's going to take just a minute to clear out sets of frogs and some enemies to get the components he needs for hunting range. Then we'll see what he ends up getting for his trouble. As Nate heads in to find Frog, he did find the Hero's Medal. And Frog has at least one decent roll. We'll try to catch if Water or Water 2 rolled good as well. Alright, Nate heading into Son of Sun. As we said, speed is no issue for Nate's team. So he feels comfortable heading in. Kind of a surprise to see Son of Sun first check here. Now this team is kind of interesting because their tech point requirements to learn techs are really nice for Frog and for Luca, but they're really terrible in Lost Worlds for Ayla. She needs 50 more tech points than everybody else to learn her fourth tech, which is the next one we'll gain access to. So a lot of times you won't see that until much later in the season. Phone heading in and doing his trades here. Let's see what we get. Oh, it's a Brave Sword. So a pretty good sword for Frog when you don't have any others. Man, really weird Luca. As far as her tech rolls. A Magic Seal dropping off Son of Sun. Rewarding Nate for his early check, potentially. If you're Nate, I wonder what you're hoping for here. It is a Chrono Trigger. That seems like if Frog's Water 2 rolled decent, you could get through everything in that go mode. We see Phone heading to the Reptites. He's either grinding on the top here or downstairs, or he's going to complete Reptite Lair, but we'll see what he ends up doing. Nate deciding to grab a few more chests in this quick, easy access forest maze, getting rewarded with a silver stud, which should help us with some of our high rolls. as Phone continues grinding out these guys here. We are just 11 minutes in to our Seed 1 versus Seed 2 race in the Lost Worlds Clash, the first annual Lost Worlds Clash. This whole event has taken place over the last 3 weeks. It's been 2 asyncs a week of some pretty challenging seeds, all working to test us and figure out what our best average is, which is our average with our 2 worst times removed. And then that best average was used for our pairings here. And Phone ran up the leaderboard this last week with excellent performed runs on some difficult seeds. Phone up here in Inhasa is going to set up the new fight. And that's going to get him probably tech point doubling on everyone but Ayla. I don't think he's got enough to hit it with Ayla. But he'll get doubling on Frog and Marl. Maybe even tripling on 1 or 2 of them. I guess it does count as petting the cat. This new fight is very rewarding, but also a scary fight if you don't have a good AoE. Oh, do I? Well, sorry about that. Thank you. Yeah, this is such a hard fight to do this early without having gotten a lot of XP either. Phone eliminating one of the problematic news that can kill you. And the second, there's one more. I believe it's in that bottom right corner. Alright, Nate finding that very useful Marl. Ooh. Phone taking the hit on Ayla, but had either Re-Raise or the Green Dream on her. Which is going to bring her back up. She is the character that's going to benefit. She's going to get the least tech points for doing this early, because she will only get the 90 tech points. But it will be probably the most impactful 90, because she needs to hit 150 to learn her next tech. Nate heading in to Reptite Lair as he continues. He's looking for a dig. Yeah, Eris could definitely be in play. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, I think if you're Nate, you almost wanted Sun Palace, Son of Sun, to be Pendant to give you permission to gamble. Because that's, a lot of times, that's Nate's playstyle, is to gamble on like a Mount Woe or something like that throughout the seed. But Reptite's a really nice play. Is he gonna keep looking for the dig, or will he head on in? Yeah, really tough team to do this new fight with for Phone. But huge rewards. It's probably gonna give him a really nice shot. He knows already if it's gonna get him his AoEs or not, but it very well could. But Nate is going to run into some of the same problems here for Nizbal. The nice thing is that the fight downstairs is grindable and very nice tech point rewards. So it's better tech point rewards downstairs in the Reptite fight than the bugs upstairs. But you would have to take it quite a number of times to change what you have. You'd have to do it, I think, 4 times usually with most parties. But that could change what you have and give you an answer to Nizbal. Phone heading down. We'll probably grab the other speed tab. Get another chance to look at our techs. And yeah, Luca's flare is bad. I don't think her fire 2 is much better. And Phone does head to the future. Yeah, it looks like we're going to see an Eris play from Phone. As Nate runs through Reptite, is going to get himself out of this fight as quick as possible. This Megasaur fight. If Nate has a ton of accessories. If Nate's able to push through a Nizbal here, he does set himself up really nicely for the new fight afterwards. Usually coming through here first and taking kind of the minimum amount of fights sets you up to get that tech tripling and get the first tech on Ayla, which is super nice. That 4th tech, rather. This has been a wild seed with a bad Luca in it. Luca has maintained her position on Nate's team, at least for now, and Nate is also bringing in Frog and Ayla with a good leap slash. We need to try to catch yeah, Tailspin rolled bad. I'd love to try to catch Fire 1 rolled okay. Didn't roll high. That's going to hurt the dual tech potential for stuff like, I think, Red Pin. Flame Kick. Yeah, Phone did do Hunting Grounds for a Brave Sword on Frog. Nate found the Hero's Medal in his loot check. But just really bad teams right now. It's like we're kind of stuck using really early game techs right now because they rolled not much better than normal. But I would love to catch what Fire 2 actually rolled, and I'd love to catch what Water 2 rolled. So if anybody catches either of those, Water 1, Triple Kick, those would all be things to know. Yeah, Cube Toss is turning that damage into something we can actually use. And not doing bad damage for how early we are and how little XP we've really gotten. But will it scale enough into the late game to give us an answer for stuff like Zeal, for stuff like Twin Golems? I don't know the answer to that. But we do get a Mermaid Cap and a Green Dream on Phone's side for the Guardian. Challenging Nizbal fight, testing our runner here on Nate's side of the screen. Phone sticking on the rat and getting out of that room as quickly as possible to go see what his reward will be for doing Aristome here. Nate having to use that 3 MP tailspin because it's one of the only damages we have to get through Nizbal. What a difficult seed to roll for these two runners. Alright, Nate is through the Nizbal 1 fight with... I just noticed his team is Phone, Fitz, and Crab. Phone is almost out of Aerostome already. Wow. Dreamstone for Nate. It's not go mode, but it's a lot of info. Is he looking to... Oh, he's looking at the new fight. Like I said, he set himself up really nice to unlock a tech. It's a clone for Phone. It's a clone for Phone. Nate is maybe at least checking the Algetty shop. I wonder if we haven't found ethers the way we'd like to. There are a lot of things to keep track of as a runner and as a viewer when it comes to the start of these seeds that can make a huge difference for the entire layout. Things like, are ethers for sale in shops, which we aren't sure of. Sun Palace top pack was the Chrono Trigger. So it's very likely Phone could head that way, but he's looking at Reptite first. Nate is looking to run up Woe. That's going to fill out his tech list, but it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really a tough climb here with this party and these techs. Phone at least grabbing some levels here. We'll see if he continues down or if he just thinks if he's maybe close to a tech he needs. Look at this, Nate having to single target the Mud Beast down. He's probably going to have to avoid the gargoyles. And he's going to be more of somebody that's going to benefit from the rubbles. From grabbing 1 or 2 rubbles along the way, than one-shotting the gargoyles, which for a lot of teams would be a more efficient way. Alright, Fire 2 was a 4. Triple kick rolled bad. Wow, they just have nothing. They have nothing. They need to... Even Ice Water is so late. Like, even Ice Water is so late that, like, if you don't get it, it doesn't help you. Ice Water might be your way through Black Omen. Now, here's the problem. We haven't found Pendant yet. So, even we don't know where Pendant is. Leap Slash rolled good. Cat Attack rolled good. But I think all of our main AoEs rolled bad. I did not catch Water 2 on Frog. But I think we're missing, like, all of our AoEs rolled bad. So this is a seed where Ice Water may end up being good. And it's so far down in the list that I don't even know if we'll get it. And then, like, if you're in this seed, you want Ice Water to pop up quickly. You want to be able to, like, kind of work for it, but get it. Yeah, that's rough. Because Ice Water might be your answer out of this if Water 2 didn't roll good on Frog. Which either we don't have Water 2 on Frog, or it rolled bad, and that's why we aren't using it. Nate with some slick skips as Phone continues grinding at the top of Reptite. So Phone also obviously realizing how tricky this seed is, and also a little worried about what's to come. Worried enough that he's going to spend some time grinding, which is not his typical playstyle here. Rubble's dropping power tabs. It's like Superman dropping kryptonite. Now, here's an interesting question for chat. If you're in this seed and you're using one of these parties, which looks like they fell on the same party, who or what go mode are you secretly hoping for? I'll wait. We have one in chat saying they would forfeit. Another person in chat saying they would want neither go mode. Oh, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble with these runners for this seed, but I did nothing special. I just rolled it. Oh, but talk about something that's gonna slow down some very fast runners. I'm all in earlier talking about an over-under on 115. I think it's an over. But these runners are both so good that we don't know. Especially because as soon as Phone feels confident to take on Sun Palace, he's going to find his go mode. Nate, we're on like a 50-50 right now. This is either going to lead him to Lavos go mode, which is maybe the preferred go mode, or a pendant, which is really going to be sad. But the pendant will give him clear direction to Aristone. So if he gets pendant here, he gets a lot stronger for having come here, and he'll end up just getting that. Wow, that was slick on the way back down there by Nate. I'm surprised he's not doing the speed ring on Luca, but I guess if she's... Well, never mind, he doesn't have Luca. And Frog and Ayla don't really benefit from the speed belt, so he was just stealing the dash ring back off Luca. Now this is the, I call this Fitz fight, because while we can skip this fight, it's super valuable tech point wise. So, but it looks like we're going to have to get out, because without an AoE, these fights are rough. This is a dangerous place. Yeah, Fitz fight, and Fitz took a nap. The character Fitz. Yeah, so Nate is unfortunately, he's going to have to replace these fights with Rubbles, and that's going to be trading a little bit of time for a little bit of levels and tech points, if he decides to make them up. Meanwhile, we have Phone in the Son of Sun fight. And this will lead him to Black Omen go mode. So we will have to see if Nate's gamble's going to pay off. But we are in a tough spot here, because again, these fights are so dangerous and they are so fast. Nate having to nope out of this gargoyle fight, but getting it, which is insane, because that is hard. It's really curious here. Is Nate gonna take down the, like, he's almost gonna have to take down the arms on Giga Gaia. As much as he'd love to just focus the head down, I don't think we have quite the damage to do that. He'll take this fight. Triple kick rolled a 4. Still haven't seen Water 2 on Frog. Oh, we see Frog out. Frog is kicked to the curb, at least for this rubble. That is go mode for Phone. And he is running right at it at 3150 with a bad team. Phone has much worse gear. He's come up with some of the stuff. Yeah, we really need to catch what Frog's Water 2 rolled. I don't know if the runners have access to it, but if they do, it rolled bad and nobody's using it. Sorry. If it rolled good, we don't have it yet. 8 MP. So vanilla. It's tough. I mean, you're signing up to 2-shot goons. You're signing up for a long mutant. Nate might have just been unlocking Antipode by switching Luca. Oh, no. He swapped Ayla out for this fight. He's hoping one of the Antipodes can help him through this, it looks like. Meanwhile, Phone has set up Death's Peak, gets a save off, and starts his ascent. He can't feel confident. Like, you've got to be a little scared of this go mode, no matter what. Especially, like, I don't know. I think Ice 2 rolled bad on Marl, and it rolled late. So, like, unless you're getting both of those and being able to Water 2, Ice 2. Yeah, this is a mean one. Nate starting his Giga Gaia fight. Again, folks, this is a 50-50 chance on this Giga Gaia holding Lavos Go mode or a pendant. Phone did do a little bit of grinding. Finding a blue mail on the way up here is certainly nice. But this is still a scary end game. Keep in mind, Phone really only has the XP from the new fight and the Reptite, or the bugs in Reptite Lair. Yeah, see, you're gonna almost have to take out the arms because you can't withstand that attack. Now, bosses like Lavos spawn and Elder Lavos spawn, unconcerned. We so have that under control. But when it comes to both of the mutants, I would worry on Phone's side of the screen. Ooh, red pin. Here is Antipode 3 for 600 damage. Phone swapping Luca in for the lava shell fight. Kind of bad gear on Phone's side too. It's gonna be tough. I really think it's easy to underestimate how difficult this endgame could end up being. with the gear Phone has so far. Like, Nate's gonna have a lot more tools at his disposal. Dang, Nate just hammering away as quick as he can, but knowing those arms are coming back up. We're only at 36 minutes. This is the next 5 minutes or so are typically when we see go mode getting acquired for a lot of seats and a lot of runners. Obviously that can vary depending on the runner and strategies at play. Nate with the kill on Giga Gaia. Y'all, is this going to pay off? We have a 50% chance of this being the other go mode that dodges the mutants. And we have a 50% chance of this being the gosh darn pendant. Everyone's holding their breath as we wait to find out. We have the other go mode, folks. Nate bypassing the mutants, saying no to the Mammon machine, and finding the Tyranno lair into Lavos go mode. It's still not going to be easy. There's going to be uphill battles, but if we can get through Giga Gaia, we can probably get through Lavos too. But we'll have to see, because we've got a lot more action before that comes up. Nate finally hitting this new fight. Just gonna use it to finish his team off before heading to Tyranno lair. He may still be looking for ethers too. I'm not 1000% sure that we have found normal ethers. Someone else would have to tell me, but I think Frog Squash rolled good enough to be used. Nate giving us a chance to look at our techs again. Very tough. Just keep in mind, Phone is already through Death's Peak. And he will have hurdles. I mean, even the very next thing we see on Phone's side is a little scary if we don't have good tools for it. Those turrets. Those turrets on the front of the Black Omen are going to be a little scary. It's not going to be a run-ender, probably. Phone knows they're there. Frog getting knocked to 1 HP. And we're dropping a Frog Squash for 800. We do see tech point doubling on Luca from that. And here is how Phone plans to tackle this. He's going to tackle them one at a time. And the most important part of this is to make sure that you don't attack them and not kill them. Slow and steady is the play here, but it's not free. As we see Ayla drop to the turrets. We have 5 revives typically that we buy. 5 or 6 revives most of us buy at the start of one of these seeds. And you hate to waste them because what if you need them later? What if you need them in that scary mutant fight? What if you need them in Zeal 2? Oh, that's crazy. Nate just doing some tech I didn't even know about. Delaying the shop into the Innertron. He's shopping inside the Innertron right now. Yeah, y'all, I'm not convinced we found ethers. I don't, the way Nate's been looking at mid-ethers in shops and stuff, I don't think we've found ethers, maybe. Like I said, there's so many different things to keep track of that, like, drastically change how a seed plays. And we're running into a lot of them in this seed as Phone continues deeper into the omen. Alright, the first appearance of the goons. We're going to be two-shotting the goons one attack at a time. Alright, we do get through the goons, and Nate is ready to begin his ascent through Tyranno Lair. I think there's a lot of seed left for 42 minutes, 43 minutes in. I think there's a lot of struggle left. Alright, Nate does not have Water 2, so if Water 2 rolled good, he doesn't have it. On Frog. Oh, you're right, Topback, sorry. It rolled 8. Last tech. Dang. Indecisive speed tab usage by Phone makes a lot of sense here, because this is probably a set of characters that you're going to have to swap between potentially for different bosses. So otherwise, Phone would be right away to spin those speed tabs on Luca, but I think he's thinking that Marl may swap in for Ayla at points, perhaps, or for Frog. And you want to make sure that you're prepared for that too, so you can have that ice toss. Nate with a well-executed Tyranno Lair. He has been here dozens of times. Grabbing himself an extra chest on the way up, because we are a little gear starved, though Nate has a lot more gear than Phone does, just from his routing and from those early game chests. Nails the skip in front of Nizbal, skips the save point, and heads right into Nizbal 2. While Phone dodges the eyeball fights we were curious if he might take. But this is the one you have to start, so this would be the most likely one for him to go for if he's not running from it, but he is running from it. Rainbow Helm +3 is certainly something you'd like to see. Water 1 not available for Frog either. So Frog is a cheerleader this seed. Ice 2 coming out on Nate's side. on Marl. Not good. This is a tough spot. Nate does not have a save before this boss to reset and try something different either. He bypassed the save point. No elevator fights, so that's a loss of like up to like 70 tech points. At least. But he is already at the new shop, whereas Nate is in one of his biggest hurdles this seed, which is going to be Nizbal 2. This is kind of his mutant. Oh, wow, we get a great shop at the end here for phone. All of Nate's damage is like less than 400 per hit. As phone decides what to buy or sell. This is going to be the hardest part of Nate's run. Because at least for Black Tyranno, you kind of know you have to take out Azala. Yeah, but we have good single target damage. We have good single target damage, we just can't use it on Nizbal. We'll be in a much better spot for... Like, we'll have to take out Azala, but Black Tyranno won't be a problem. I hope. Phone really taking his time to make sure he's perfectly geared continuing into this. Alright, that gets us through and gets us bubble hit, which might have rolled nice. Yeah, Napalm would have been your answer to that. Because Napalm did roll good on Luca. Alright. Phone taking this extra fight for 30 tech points. The tubsters, there's a set of 2 tubsters worth 60 in the room right before the double bosses in the Black Omen here. But that's one of the fights, that's one of the enemies that's really worth it, tech point wise. It's just that there's only one of them there. Phone getting past the incognito and deciding he still needs better loot. Nate, on the other hand, dropping a seed and getting us to the Black Tyranno fight. Luca made the squad this time. Will give us some of the antipodes that didn't roll good, but are probably better than what we were using for Nizbal 1. As well as Napalm, which will certainly do more. Red Pin was decent earlier, but I think Red Pin is half physical. So it might, but it would work well for the Tyranno itself. Azala, we're going to be napalming probably. We've got some options. This is the team I would have been drawn to, but like I probably would have switched a couple times too, because this seed's really throwing you for a loop. That napalm rolled decent. Decent enough to get rid of Azala in a couple turns. Phone making really good time through the encounter skips, but of course the encounter skips are not his problem coming through here. Yeah, perhaps Top Pack. It's always a play of when it comes to grinding, you, in a perfect world, will make it to the most optimal grind spots. Like, Nate did go do the new fight to grind, and he did Mount Woe to grind, but he didn't necessarily want to stop and do rep type, but he wants to make it to the actual grind spot with really only 1 or 2 hurdles in his way that were really big. But yeah, you kind of want to make it to the best grind spot you can before you make that, like, take those minutes, because if you take a couple minutes to grind before Black Tyranno, you might still have to grind in Ocean Palace. That's true. That's true. I don't think it will by then, though, because we've got a couple big bosses worth of XP between us and that. I don't know, it'll be interesting. We'll have ice water as well, which might be decent. The Black Tyranno strikes 3 on his countdown. Nate continues hammering away at it, hoping to finish it before it hits 0. Might have to end up throwing re-raises out. This is nerve-wracking fight for Nate here. Alright, Phone walking into what may be one of his biggest walls in the seed. We'll see what he has planned for it. Looks like he's ready to napalm if he hasn't found a better. Oh, it is the 6-cost tailspin. The 0 is hit on Nate's side. It's a water elemental. But he survives it, and the re-raise brings Zayden back and continues the fight. And that should let Nate get through the rest of this. And there it is. Expertly played and trolling the commentators as he finishes off Tyranno Lair at 54 minutes. Phone continuing his Giga Gaia, throwing lots of heals into the mix. Getting hit for over half your health. Almost all of Luca's health there. Napalms continue coming out for about 800. That'll get you through. That'll get you through if you can keep everybody alive. That's exactly what Phone's doing, is he's just using the one good damage tech he has, and everything else is geared towards keeping her alive. Throwing ethers here soon as well, as Nate does a little last-minute shopping. Make sure he has the status protection he's certainly going to need later. Yeah, and now we finally see ethers in this seed. Standard ethers. Yeah, so I wish I had caught on to that earlier, but that is half of what made this seed harder. Like bad techs, okay gear. Nate had better gear than Phone did, but this idea of no ethers with bad techs is that's just rough. You need levels to make up those max MPs. That way you can cast your bad spells. That's really challenging. Yeah, Phone's gonna have to be really careful on ethers. And we talked about these mutants being one of the biggest walls, and we're seeing it live here. Where he's been in this mutant for a good chunk of the end of Tyranno Lair, as well as all the way to the path to shopping and to the single golem. But he does make it through. Now he's got to make up for any damage he did to the top that didn't hit the bottom. All those tailspins have to get made up for now. Incredibly played as as Phone gets a gold stud for his trouble. They said, well done managing your MP costs. You won't have to do that anymore. Ice is 250 away. Nate is in this difficult golem fight, but he's got the ability to smack it with something physical and then turn it. He can turn it between fire and water, so he's doing fire and water strats here, and he got through the single golem. Now he's got time to make up. Phone still has some more difficult endgame ahead of him, but Phone is a good chunk of the way through this go mode dungeon. Nate's just starting this Ocean Palace, and then he's got a long final boss. But we have a tight, this is a pretty tight race. And it makes sense, because these are the #1 and #2 seed from the Lost Worlds Clash. These players have had the best average over the four of their 6 seeds. Alright, we get goons on the second elevator. That's what you want to see if you want tech points. 50 additional tech points for this fight showing up each time it does on the elevators. Grabbing every chest he can on his way through the Ocean Palace. And has made it to the grind spot. The amount of time he spends here will decide a lot of things about this seed. He's getting to take a look through his gear another time here. He'll probably do it one more time before Lavos. Just make sure everything's as optimal as it can be. As Phone enters this final hallway before kind of the big boss gauntlet. You'll have two bosses that are going to be tough. He's going to have another mutant fight and that mutant can hit harder and is pretty fast. And then he'll have the Elder Lavos spawn before taking on the Zeal Gauntlet. Frog Squash dealing a decent amount for this grind fight, actually. Ayla back on the squad. Almost certainly so that we have access to Kiss. Nate says the grind fight up there is scary and mean. I'm going to go down here. There's another fight you can grind down here if he feels like he needs to. He is at about level 26, which is a little low. Without, like, I mean, you'd have to have, like, perfect gear and techs for most players to be comfortable going down at 26. Oh, he's just doing those two. He can not quite one-shot that, but he's pretty close now. Phone, on the other hand, has eaten up all the extra tech points from those fights in that hall. And is going to be heading into his in-game boss. He does have Water 1, as Nate does. He does not have Water 2 on Frog. I wonder how far off he is. Yeah, it might be a matter of, might just be a matter of Luca knows all the techs that she needs to. And so you might as well grind with the other one, learn any dual techs you haven't. And get them some levels. Make sure that you have the freedom later to switch if you need to. Yeah, it's a really... They're in a weird spot that I seem to have put them in. Phone still has a speed tab that I think he's not quite sure what to do with. This feels like the only Luca I wouldn't run. And the seed didn't give you any other good options to like trade her in for. Alright, this battle right here that Phone is starting is going to tell us a lot about this seed and about this race. Folks, we are at 105.30. Both players are in late in the game, like go mode dungeons. They both have just a handful of bosses between them and victory. And we're doing pretty solid damage with that now. That should be good enough to push through this. Nate bypasses the save point. This is his chance to damage check Frog Squash against the Scouters. Has he done enough? And he has. These levels are low. These techs are bad. Our consumables on phone side are consumed, mostly. Nate sitting on a mountain of ethers. But phone also having to rely on really cheap techs and the gold stud making them even cheaper. But there goes our first death of the mutant. As Marl drops, they instantly throw a heal onto Marl. Nate grinding the Scouter fight at the top of the elevator because he knows he can one-shot it and he can reset it fast. Look at that. Nate is ready to go down the elevator. Alright, that brings Marl back up with the re-raise. A good re-raise. Phone throwing out a heal, just trying to keep everybody alive, to keep the damage coming out and get through what is going to probably be the hardest fight of this seed, other than Zeal 2 herself. Nate makes it through the first of the elevator fights. Water 1 coming out from phone. That's how desperate we are for every little bit of damage here before things start going bad. And here comes the obstacle. Let's see what that's going to do on phone side, if anything. It's not. He must have full protection and some good or some good luck. Nate finishing off the Scouter fight, the full-on Scouter fight. It's going to get him down to the Scouter skips and the Twin Golem fight. Nate has 4 bosses left. Phone has 3, and the rest of this mutant. Nate heading into the Twin Golems as Phone makes it through what is probably the hardest fight this seed, other than the upcoming Zeal 2. Yeah, Zeal is not free. You need a lot of damage for Zeal. We do not have damage, but we just got Pyozo Dance. We just got the White Rock And this might be a seed where Pyozo Dance is our best single target damage. You see Phone immediately swapping to Girl Power. White Rock could change the landscape of these final fights. We just need a reminder what it rolled, and we need a damage check on it, because it is not a tech that comes up very often in Boss Rando. But in this situation, it might become one of our best points of damage. Nate fighting that difficult Twin Golem spot. Gonna be doing the fire and water strats on that as well. But I think we'll get a chance to see what Pyozo Dance is doing. In this fight here. That cat attack rolled really nice too. Alright, we see both Twin Golems put to sleep. We can focus on them one at a time now. Oh, we might not get to find out Pyozo Dance's damage. Heavy hits on Nate's side of the field here in this Twin Golem spot. Switching them between fire and water to keep it to single target attacks from these Twin Golems. Alright, there goes one of the Twin Golems. Elder Spawn is not ready to give up without a fight. But the cat attack is doing solid damage. Not as solid as I thought, though. The 1 MP flare, 8 MP napalm. There goes the Elder Spawn. We have one more room of panels for Phone to prove himself on, and then a very challenging boss gauntlet. We are 1 hour and 14.5 minutes into this seed. Both runners can see their end game from where they're standing. Who will come out on top? Ice water unlocked on Phone's side now. Second golem dropping on Nate's side. Blaze kick, Anthropode coming out for Nate. That is going to put Phone at the last save point in the seed before we know who the victor is. Alright, Frog coming back in on Nate's side. Phone sprinting forward to start Zeo 1. Mammon Machine and Zeal 2. As Nate takes a gander at his gear, makes sure he's amuleted up. So he can kiss to get rid of the status. Keeping the dash ring on Marl is probably the right call. And is going to run into that Lavos shell fight. Phone certainly ahead in the average endgame fight, but things really thrown in flux when we're not sure what kind of damage we're talking about for our endgame boss here. Mammon Machine's going to be a different fight than usual for Phone. And Zeal 2 may end up being a different fight than usual for Phone when we're talking such small numbers for damage. It's a different fight when you know you're going to lose the damage race. Vigil Hat drop on Zeal 1. Phone saving every ether for in-game. Remember, Phone has nothing for ethers except what he found along the way. Nate finally found regular ethers for sale in Zeal on his way to Tyranno Lair. So again, this is a seed with a terrible Luca. Bad AoE techs on every character that has them, and if they were okay, they were late. No ethers available in the stores at the beginning. Subpar gear. And we see Frog taking a nap on Phone's side of the screen here. Very challenging seed, very challenging fight. It is not over until one of these runners has killed their final boss. We are 1 hour and 18 minutes in. We see Mammon Machine and Lavos on screen at the same time. We're having to use physical techs on Mammon Machine, which means every one we use, we do less damage the next time. Little known fact, did y'all know you could remove the stat changes on Mammon Machine with the Grand Leo? Welcome everybody in chat as we are in an epic end game here between Phone and Nate. Drop kicks coming out on both sides. You see Mammon Machine and Lavos 1, but Phone is not out of the woods when this fight is over. Nate just got into the shell. He's going to get his last save point, and he's going to head into Lavos 2 and 3. This is all in Phone's hands. Will his team have enough with the few ethers he has to push through the rest of this, finish Zeal before Nate can kill Lavos? This is why they are the two top-rated players in the Lost Worlds clash at the end of all 6 of those seeds. If you had taken I'm All In's over-under on 115, you would have won. Now, you could be rolling in points. Alright. We have Lavos on one side. We have Zeal 2 on the other. Keep in mind, Nate has to get through Lavos 2 and Lavos 3 before this is over for him. But how much damage do we have? We have over 2k. That's pretty good. Phone may have put everything together for in-game to be able to handle this well. But Nate heading into this also scary. Lavos 2, and it immediately puts him into a heal loop. He throws a revive down and a heal. That's going to get him in a safe spot, but then he still has to deal with those hands. Phone sitting at about 4k damage, 4.5. Ice 1 rolled decent. It's doing 1500. It's going to knock us up towards 6 damage, 6k damage. That's about 7 on ZL2. Nate having to deal with these arms is going to have to knock them down one by one. We are waiting. Phone is trying to beat the halation. Or beat the hexagon mist and turn it into a halation. I think he'll have it. Nate continuing the damage, throwing tailspins out on the head to eke out some extra damage before that phase of the fight begins. Because some of those attacks he uses are a little scary. There's the halation on Phone's side. This fight is at least halfway done. But look at his HPs. And look at his MPs. He throws out a re-raise on himself. MP Buster comes out. It always hits that first party member. No megas. He's having to do this the old-fashioned way. But keep in mind, all of these turns that this is taking are turns that Zeal gets to put towards that next hexagon mist. Yeah, and keep in mind the second hexagon mist ignores barriers. So you can barrier for the first one. It won't help you with the second one. Great hits coming out from Phone's side. Nate surviving that heavy attack. That arm is still up. He's throwing out a heal. And he's switching to Ice Toss. He needs that arm off. Oh, Ice Toss is doing a bunch of damage on the head. Even with the arm up. Alright, Phone finishes with a strong 125-10. And will be going into the final async in the Lost Worlds Clash. Nate still in a challenging Lavos 2 fight here. So I'm going to bring his audio in. An excellent finish by Phone. As an official time of 1:25:10 in an incredibly difficult seed. Nate also pushing through this impossible seed. Alright, Nate starting Lavos 3 here. No menu glitch. Throwing out the Mega Elixir immediately to fix it. Probably a good play. He's gonna have to probably single target center bit down. But he's contemplating. He wants to see what these damage numbers are. Almost 2k on Ice 1. Very difficult end games on both sides of the cart here. As Nate continues this Lavos 2 or Lavos 3, looking for the best damage he has access to. It just isn't there. Hammering away at center bit, 2800, almost enough to take him down. Frog comes in for the 1305, takes down center bit. Now we have a little bit of time to recover, not a lot, but a little bit of time to recover before that defense goes down. There's the defense. And then we can start hammering away at the real boss. Alright, see Nate taking the time while he's got this little lull. This is the time in between phases. It's the time to haste if you're going to. Active life brings center bit back up though. Nate's got to get to work on some damage here. $2,800 on center again. See, this is the time where you'd kind of like to throw out a couple AoEs, but you just don't have them. You just don't have good AoEs to use in this fight with this party. And with the techs that we rolled, the slop this team brought to the table. We are just over the 130 mark. On a pretty early go mode with bad techs, rough characters, okay loot, and just a very challenging seed. We come to one of the scary backgrounds, so the center bit has to go. And he does. No grandstone for Nate. He's checking what he can use. He can get everybody recovered. And he's got to get right into damage if that bit's already got its defense still down. $24.05 coming out on right bit. Puts us a little over 3K. Defense comes up, it's going to notice center bit's gone, and that defense is going to drop right back down. Ice Toss coming out to continue the damage on right bit. Look at how tough of a seed this is. That two of the two top tier Lost Worlds players are going to finish it above an hour 25. Hammering away while he has the chance before that bit comes back. Speak of the devil, that bit is back. Nate feels close enough on the damage to go for the bit and to try to finish this out. He must know exactly how close he is to the end of this. Because Grandstone is coming, and we don't want to see Grandstone. There is the finish, a 1:33.19. So about an 8-minute difference between two really close runners. Very tight. If either runner would like to come in for a little interview, that would be great. If not, that's a-okay as well. But shoot some GGs in chat, because that was an excellent finish on a incredibly hard seed. Yeah, I will post the seed share, because that was mean. My cat just fell. You good, brother? Yeah, he's good. Yeah, that was a very challenging seed. So thank you to the runners for making time to get together and take care of this, and get pushed through a really difficult seed, because this was a really difficult seed. And it just goes to show how good all of our runners got at these end games and at these seeds, where like you kind of have to be ready for anything. So I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out, and we will have some more action coming right up. Let me check real quick when those races are coming up. And and I'll let you know when those races are coming. All right, we have some more Lost Worlds Clash action coming up. We have Friday night will be me versus Lord Batsy. For Friday evening, it'll be 4:30 Central. We'll also have I'm All In for one free fits Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. And we will and then Top Pack and Takenu's match is also coming up, but it will be asynchronous, but we will find out the results live. So that will be coming up this week as well. So be waiting for info on that. Otherwise, thank you so much to everybody for being a part of this and for coming and hanging out. And thank you to chat for coming and watching. And we will have more Lost Worlds action to come this week. Stay tuned.